Welcome to Chopstick Travel. I'm Luke Martin, and today we have another episode from Taipei, Taiwan. This time we are exploring Datong, a very old district here in Taipei City. We're gonna be tasting a lot of Taiwanese street foods. We're gonna take you to the famous Dihua Street and check out the traditional Chinese medicines and tasting some unique snacks that you can't really find in a lot of other places. Right now we are in front of the Dadaocheng Temple, and in front of the temple there are these really cool stalls set up, a whole row of street food stalls, and they have seating underneath the banyan tree in front of the temple. We're gonna get breakfast here. We're gonna try some congee and some fried pork. It's gonna be a really great day, so make sure to stay tuned till the end because you're not gonna wanna miss it. So let's go. So I'm a huge fan of the atmosphere at this spot. It is set down this little back alley, very quiet in front of the temple underneath the banyan tree. You get lots of shade, you can hear the birds, and even though it's quite hidden, there are a lot of locals eating here, and it's a great place for breakfast. So we have our breakfast here. The first one is the congee, the rice porridge. You can see all of those little pieces of rice in there, and there's also some meat inside, and it looks like some onions, some maybe fried shallots, and there should be some celery in there as well. And then this is a really interesting dish. This is the red yeast deep fried pork. You can see the layer of fat and meat there, and then the crunchy exterior, a little bit of daikon radish, and then it's served with a red sauce. I'm just gonna start with some of this congee. This is such a perfect little breakfast item. Very simple. And there's really not much to it. That rice is so soft it completely falls apart in your mouth. You definitely need to add some of the white pepper. Add some of this white pepper and give it a little mix. And let me try one of these pieces of meat. That is very traditional, but very hearty and delicious breakfast. Okay, let's try out the red yeast fried pork. There are little pieces of bone, and I'm gonna take a piece of radish here, piece of pork, dip it in that sauce, give that a try. A little bit oily, a little bit fatty, but very tender, and definitely not as healthy an option as the congee, but I really love that crispy exterior, and then with that kind of sweet and sour sauce, really good. So these dishes are just two of the many options at all of these street food stalls. We've even had smoked shark here before. There's all kinds of different things, but I really love the congee for breakfast. And then it contrasts perfectly with the kind of greasy, fatty, deep fried pork. That is an awesome breakfast option. Really great way to start the day, and I'm just in love with this place. It's been a long time since we've been here last, but the atmosphere is very unique. There's not any other place that I've been to in Taiwan with a courtyard in front of the temple filled with tables for all the street food stalls to serve, and it's definitely not touristy. It is really local. We're gonna head for another breakfast spot today. So we are sat down at our next spot, and this one is just as traditional as the last. I love the atmosphere right on the side of the road, and I actually am just sitting at this little wooden kind of school desk, and I've got their classic dishes here. So the first one is their rib soup. So these are huge pork ribs, just absolutely massive. Look at that. And then we've also got a big daikon hiding underneath there. And then over here is their vegetable rice. I can see some carrots, I can see some shallots and cabbage. And I'm just gonna start by trying a little bit of this thin broth here. Oh, that is good. Very simple. It just tastes like the daikon and maybe some other vegetables, but they are not cooking the ribs in that broth, that stock. That is just a vegetable-based stock, and then the ribs are cooked in another and then mixed together, but that is really tasty. Let's try some of the meat now. Just look at the amount of meat on the side of this thing. Oh, it fell right off the bone. I'm just gonna dip it into the soup a little bit and try that. Wow, that is tender. Wow, that is just melt in your mouth, fall apart, and really natural tasting. And then it's kind of infused with that daikon broth. That is so good and so much meat. Wow. Next up, let's try the daikon. Wow. So juicy. Really fresh vegetable flavor, full of all that liquid soup. And then it's got still a bit of a crisp texture to it. It's not too soft. So this dish may look simple, but this is their second most famous thing, their vegetable rice, and it looks like there's probably quite a bit of oil too. Let's give this a try. That is a burst of flavor. It's honestly more flavorful than the rib soup. It's just packed full of, you can taste the onions, the shallots in there, and then it's got a little bit of an oiliness, so it's got a unique, sticky texture to it. That is more than meets the eye, really flavorful. These ribs have the bone on, of course, but they are not shy with the meat here. There is so much meat. Look at that. That is like a massive, almost like a tomahawk steak. Yum. So tender, wow. Whew, another great stop, really traditional spot, and some delicious ribs. They do have sauce for those ribs, which we didn't try this time, but we've eaten there before and their sauce is really good, spicy and a little bit sour. And we're just gonna head to the famous Dihua Street, which is kind of like the epicenter of Datong district. You will know when you're getting close to Dihua Street because you will start to smell it. There's a special aroma about this place. And it's kind of like a Taiwanese spice market, but a lot of the ingredients aren't necessarily spices, just different dried items. And a lot of these will be used in different broths. So you can actually buy little packets that are meant for making soup broths, and that's how you get those really deep Taiwanese flavors. All kinds of interesting ingredients, lots of Chinese medicines, lots of like barks and dried shiitake mushrooms, dried seafood, dried fruits, all kinds of different things. There's definitely some things that are not necessarily good, like shark fin and maybe bird's nest, but there are also a lot of interesting ingredients. It's a really cool place to just walk around. The buildings are an incredible old architecture, and this is an old economic hub of Taipei that has been around for centuries.
Right here in the middle of the Dihua Street area, you'll see this temple behind me, and this is actually known as the Love Temple. So they say if you come here, you pray to the god here, you will meet your soulmate. So a lot of people come here looking for love. It's very interesting. It's a very small temple, but it's beautiful among all these old buildings.
A lot of these shops have their ingredients kind of spilling out onto the street, onto the sidewalk. You can see them in these jars here, and just the smells are incredible. It smells really good, and a lot of those really kind of mysterious, deep Taiwanese flavors come from ingredients from this Dihua Street. And there's a lot to see here. It's a really cool traditional place. We're not going to be doing any shopping, but there is one unique snack that we're going to try in Dihua Street. So we popped into this really cool shop that is serving all kinds of different tea, and we ordered their bitter tea. So it's a black tea that is infused with all kinds of different herbs to give it this really bitter flavor, and it helps to rid the body of toxins. I'm not exactly sure what ingredients they put in it because there's so many mysterious ingredients in Dihua Street, so it's just a concoction. But let me try it out here. Wow. Okay, I've had the bitter tea before, but that stuff is like extremely bitter. Wow. I can't say it's really refreshing because it kind of hurts to go down. It's almost painful, it's so bitter. Wow. But that'll definitely wake you up. Oh my god, I don't even know what to compare it to. It's like almost drinking something you're not supposed to drink, like a chemical or something, but it's all natural. Okay, Sabrina's turn to try.
Oh man, it's like everlasting too. You know what? This actually tastes like that poisonous almond that we had one time.
Bitter almond.
Bitter almond, yeah.
In Delhi.
That's literally what this tastes like.
But this one's not poisonous.
No, it's cold, but yeah, you're right. Not really refreshing. Really extremely bitter.
So to wash the bitter tea down, we've got an aloe vera tea, and you can actually see little bits of the aloe vera plant floating around inside, and I think this is gonna taste a lot better. Oh yeah. Oh, that is so much better. But I don't think there's any sugar in it, nothing else. But it does have a little bit of a citrusiness to it, and then very smooth, kind of like gooey aloe vera. Wow, I like the little chunks. If for some reason there's something wrong with you and you actually like that bitter tea, you can buy some to go, but I would recommend the aloe vera tea. You should definitely try the bitter tea though. It is an experience to say the least. This shop is just so cool. They've got all these burlap sacks with all kinds of different teas and ingredients, and it's been around since 1946.
So we came down to this street food stall on Dihua Street to try a very famous soup that they have. It's called the Four Spirits soup. It has tons of crazy ingredients, a very medicinal broth. We were super excited to try it, but unfortunately it is seasonal and it's not available yet. So we did order their other item, their other specialty item, which is this meat bun, and it has pork and onions inside. I'm still excited to try it, so let's give it a go. All of that juice is coming from those steamed onions. They're so juicy inside. That's where all the flavor is coming from. Ton of meat. This is a giant and heavy meat bun.
Unfortunately, they didn't have the soup, but that was a really good meat bun. Did you like it?
Yeah, that was awesome. Really delicious.
A lot of black pepper in there, and then those onions were almost like caramelized. They were a little bit sweet. So we're gonna keep going. There's so many different little treats to try here in Dihua. So since the soup we wanted to try was not available, it's not in season right now, we were a little bit disappointed, and we spotted this other restaurant. It's more of a modern style restaurant, but they have some unique medicinal broth soup. So we ordered their ginseng chicken soup, and it was not our plan to come here, but we're gonna try it out. Not sure if it's gonna be good or bad, but let's try it out. Our soup has arrived, and it smells so fragrant. It's got this golden color to it, and there are some jujubes floating around in there, some goji berries, and then that ginseng, which is really where all that flavor is gonna come from. Popular in Korean cooking, maybe not so common in Taiwan, but I love it. And I'm just gonna take some of the broth and put it into my bowl here and try it like that first. That's amazing. I love it. It's not salty. It's not too salty at all. And it's got a little bit of a sweetness, sort of a ginger flavor. And then that ginseng tastes earthy and just healthy, rich. It's got a really deep flavor to it. Wow, there's a lot going on in there. I wasn't sure if this place was gonna be good or not, but the soup is really good. I gotta try some of the chicken. So let me fish out some of the chicken, and look at that. It looks so tender. Yeah, that's just completely fall off the bone. Let's try that. Oh man, wow. You can taste natural chicken flavor. It is completely infused though at the same time with all of that ginseng broth. So succulent, so moist. Wow, that is a really good soup.
Soups like this are just so good for your health. There's so many health properties within the broth by itself, and there's lots of rice wine within the broth, which they think is really good for women after giving birth. And soups like this I could have almost every day. It's so delicious, so tasty, and so healthy.
Really, really, really good soup. I love that. I'm glad that we just found this new spot. It's called Regimen Cuisine, and really good ginseng soup. They have a couple other different things. Very like revitalizing. I just feel full of energy now. And one of the best things about this Datong district is that there are just so many snacks to try, and they're all within a close proximity to each other. So we're just walking across the street to our next spot. So for our dessert, we are at this place that serves all kinds of different things, but what they're really famous for is their almond tea. So we have the almond tea right here. It is served hot. It's got this beautiful milky white color, and just in a mug, and that is piping hot. And I've also got the youtiao, which translates to oil stick. It's kind of like a fried cruller, but first I just gotta try the almond tea as is. That is so good. It doesn't look like it's gonna taste so strong. It's got this fruity, kind of nutty aroma to it, and it's very thick and creamy. A unique texture. It kind of lines the whole of your mouth with this film. It is so good. I don't even know how they make it taste like that. So I'm just gonna dip my youtiao directly in the almond tea, and this thing is absolutely huge. Look at the size of this. Whoa. Maybe not as crispy as they get. It might be a little bit stale. Very oily, and it's got a little bit of a savoriness to it, and it contrasts and complements the almond tea really nicely. Such a unique combination.
Most of the shops we visited here in the Dihua area are very simple. They have these stool seatings kind of on the side of the street. It's a very nice atmosphere. It's a very local atmosphere, and it's an atmosphere that we love to come and experience.
I know this stuff doesn't really look like much. It's really misleading. You might be thinking you're just getting like a cup of hot milk or something, but the flavor is strong. It is like a burst of flavor. It's got this really unique fruity flavor. It's not really like eating an almond. It's different than that. It's really, really good. Definitely not what you think it's gonna taste like. Wow, we are so stuffed. We ate so many foods today, and this area, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's definitely one of my favorite places to walk around in all of Taipei. There's so many good little snacks and restaurants here. What do you think your favorite thing was, Seb?
I have to give it up to that red yeast pork that we had this morning with the porridge. Oh my god, that is one of my favorite breakfasts of all time.
Yeah, I think it was the ginseng soup for me.
Ooh, yeah, that was good too.
But everything was really good. Hope you guys are all staying healthy and safe at home. Here in Taiwan, things are looking better, which is really good. So hopefully we won't be having to wear these all the time anymore. And if you guys want to support our channel, consider checking out our Patreon. We have all kinds of cool perks, blooper videos, and also our personally curated food maps. And we keep adding new cities all the time. So when you guys are able to travel again, you'll be able to use these food maps to find great food in all different places in the world. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button, leave us a comment down below, let us know what you think of our Taiwan series so far, and we'll see you on the next episode of Chopstick Travel soon. Bye.
Bye.